My name is Michael Fundira. I'm the president of Safari Operators Association of Zimbabwe, which is a private sector organization responsible for both consumptive and non-consumptive tourism. Consumptive tourism, just in brief, is to do with sport hunting, whereas non-consumptive is to do with photographic safaris, where people come into the country and they harvest and they enjoy the ambience of our animals. But the purpose of this briefing and press conference is to do with the tragic incident which occurred outside Wange National Park on the 6th of July 2015. I say tragic in that we lost one of the icons, a lion, a male lion, which was popularly known and endeared as Cecil. Cecil was collared. You may want to know what that means. Collared is an animal which is under surveillance, under a GPS system which is being used for research for different things. Research could encompass matters to do with checking whether is a problem animal control item, where it may be feeding or causing havoc in other activities such as cattle in a particular area, or it could be just trying to understand the biology of that particular animal. And in this particular case, Cecil was an icon who was 13 years old and very well known by the international community. The reason why we are very disturbed and rattled by this development is that a lot of people travel long distances coming to Zimbabwe for the purposes of coming to enjoy our wildlife. And obviously the absence of Cecil is a disaster in terms of the disappointment it has caused and its absence in the industry, because it's one of the brokers which really relied upon in the industry. As for the details, some of them are still before the courts, but what I know at the moment is fairly official, because ourselves, Safari Operators Association and Parks and Wildlife Authority have issued a joint press statement, which I will give you a copy if you have not received it already, or I can send it to you by email, stating the circumstances behind this tragic incident. In fact, the client or the person involved or the offender is a gentleman who is an American called Walter James Palmer. Walter James Palmer is the guy who came into the country around the beginning of this month of July and was enticed, we're not quite sure yet, to harvest this particular lion. The proper market value for this lion, which is a big treasure, would be around $100,000. Information so far received shows that there was money which was exchanged to the tune of around $55,000. That money ordinarily is a loss to the economy, loss in the sense that since this was not a legal hunt, it means that this money is not necessarily directly accruing to the fiscus or to the government of Zimbabwe. This is where we are coming from. We call it illegal hunt. Why? Because any form of hunting, first of all, has got to be authorized. It has got to be conducted in an area which is designated for that particular purpose. In as much as this particular animal was found astray in a hunting area, this particular area, which is owned by Antoinette, did not have a hunting quota for 2015 for a lion. So we would not have expected any activity in terms of hunting lion in this particular area. Secondly, any form of hunting in this particular country is highly regulated. Regulated because it's part of conservation, and we would have expected a game scout to accompany that particular hunt. In this particular is the information received to date shows that this animal was shot at 10 o'clock at night and using a bow hunt. This is a specialized hunt, a bow and arrow, as you know it in colloquial terms. Again, it's a silent weapon as opposed to something which would really cause noise. So we actually think that there is more meaning to that particular activity in terms of wanting to conceal what had happened to this icon by the name Cecil. When we got to know about it, some 2 weeks ago, we alerted the authorities as private sector operators to say this is very unfortunate. We would like to ensure that something is done as quickly as possible. We were assured by the authorities that investigations were taking place, but obviously, as you saw in the media, internationally today, CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, everywhere, they are talking about Cecil. And some of the information they seem to be projecting on the country is not quite entirely correct. We are very conscious of conservation, and we use hunting as a conservation tool. I say so because hunting is only based on animals which are quantifiable, which have been rigorously checked in terms of qualifying to be on a particular quota for hunting in a particular year. That's what we call hunting. And we also want to hunt animals, giving them a fair chase. A fair chase means that you can still have a good experience in hunting and not necessarily have an animal, but pay for that experience. In terms of Cecil, which is almost like nearly semi-domesticated, we don't call that hunting because that's not a fair chance. We think this particular animal must have been enticed to come out of the national park so that it can be harvested outside the national park and somewhat justify that it was a stray lion and could have been hunted. I think I'll pause at that point so that if you have any questions you may want to ask, and also to legal act from the membership, purely based on ethical grounds, that we don't allow the hunting of animals which are clearly designated for a particular purpose. Thank you.
When these two guys were arrested in Zimbabwe,
Theo Bronkhorst is the guy who has been placed on with criminal charges and charged by Victoria Falls Police, and the Sierra number is 27 of the 7th, 2015. So, which clearly shows that the charge has now been raised after all the investigation has been carried out and is appearing in court tomorrow.
is he Zimbabwean?
Yes, he's a Zimbabwean, and he's the owner of Bushman Safaris, which I alluded to earlier on. And on the same safari here, he was in the company of his son, Zane Brockbest.
Is the second that you sent, is Zane been found with his own?
Who?
Zane, his son.
Yes, he has been found.
He has been found.
Yes.
Is he jointly charged with?
Well, I mean, the person who is appearing on the documents, because again, we have what we call a Tiara 2. A Tiara 2 is the hunting document which is used in purpose of filing a return, which then goes also to the Reserve Bank and used as an export document. And the name of a professional hunter guiding a safari, which appears there, is one which is being charged. That's how his name is being cited.